Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to our live after 5. I would just like to talk to you about the rental market again. I suppose, look, at the moment, the market is quite negative, the conversation all around rental. Needless to say, the rent eviction ban has been lifted, and that puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people. But there is a conversation that I had with a property owner today that I'd like to share with you. So this particular gentleman hadn't actually increased the rent since 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4 years. So needless to say, the rent pressure zone came in, so he was prohibited from increasing the rent above 4% originally and now 2%. But for those wondering about the rent increase, the way you calculate it, whether you're a tenant or a landlord, what a landlord is allowed to increase it by, just go to the RPZ calculator. That's the rent pressure zone calculator. Put in the postcode, the address, and then note when was the last rent increase, and the calculator actually works it out down to the cent for you. There's no ambiguity. It can't be interpreted any other way. And landlords are not allowed increase the rent above what the rent pressure zone allows within the rent pressure zone area. Also, the owner wasn't sure the lease was expired, and I just explained, again like I did in my video on Friday, all leases now, once tenants are there over 6 months, they're entitled to an indefinite lease. So you can't give tenants notice and bring in new tenants. That's just not allowed, okay? And then the owner was unsure whether to sell or to keep renting. And I always say to people, if you need the money, like for example, there's quite a few people who have to sell because they've got a mortgage, and by the time they receive the rent and they pay the tax on it, a lot of people we know have very little left over to make it worthwhile, or also that they actually are paying more back on the mortgage than they're taking in after tax. So it doesn't make sense for them. We've a lot of clients who are in that situation. So this particular gentleman actually isn't in that situation. So I said to him, if you sell the property, do you have a home for that money? And he said, well, look, I'll probably reinvest it. But by the time we finished the conversation, I said, I don't think you should sell. Imagine an estate agent telling the owner not to sell. We're not even renting and managing the property. We want to give sound, good advice. I said, I don't think you should sell. You've got really good tenants. The rent isn't fantastic, but it's not too low either, but it's not anywhere close to market rent. And he can increase the rent a little bit. The rent is actually low, but he can increase it a bit, whereby it makes it just about worth his while to continue renting. Each situation is different, I will highlight. And remember, property owners have to make a profit on this. If they don't, it is a commercial reason for renting. They're not the state. Private owners are not obliged to provide accommodation, but it has to be a win-win. It has to be a win for the property owner, and it has to be a win for the tenant. So in this instance, it is for the tenants. They're getting a very good rent charged. They have a lovely home in a great location in Waterford, and the owner is going to keep renting to them. As I advised him, it's a great investment. The property will hopefully increase in value over the years. You've got an income coming in, and it doesn't make sense to sell it, so he's not going to sell it. So whilst there's a lot of negativity out there, and we're hearing that all landlords are leaving the market, they're not all leaving, and there are new property owners coming into the market. They're buying for their pension, because all the experts have always said over the years, including Warren Buffett, who's very interesting to listen to, that real estate has always been one of the best investments. So I just like to put that out there, because it's not all bad for property owners. For some property owners, and especially new property owners entering the market now, it is a very good return on your investment long term. And if you are dealing with a reputable agent, then any of the hassle that people talk about and the worry that you might have in terms of complying with legislation, that's our job. Our job is to help you. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Have a lovely evening and thanks for watching. Slán go fóill. And don't forget to sign up to our YouTube channel because we've lots of helpful tips on that. Thank you.